Hey Wichita, we're gonna give just a little bit of chance to catch up on everything, get populated so we can get people in here. I'm real excited to bring you this one because I think you're gonna like to hear a lot of what I have to say on this, and I'm in a good mood today. It's Monday and things are going really well. Had a lot of good things going on today, and I got a lot of really good news to share with this too. And so I just want to get into it here quickly. I want to show you my setup though here quick. If you like monitors and stats and graphs and all that, and you're kind of a data nerd like I am, you'll appreciate this. So got a quad monitor set up on everything. So there's my calendar, my general workstation, and then I use my TV screen to display a bunch of things too. And then I keep track of important clients here and then important dates there as well. But anyway, with all that, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to start talking about 2021's housing market, the current status of everything going on, and get into a little bit of projections and forecasts, not only for myself, but more importantly from bigger, smarter experts than me, so that this stuff, isn't coming just from me pulling it out of thin air, making stuff up. So without all that further ado, let me just get right into it. I got a bunch of graphs and stuff that I'm going to post in the comments here in a little bit on everything. But one thing I wanted to say is that it's definitely a lot more optimistic than people were thinking. If you thought 2020 was crazy, 2021 is projected on average to see about 3.9% more appreciation. Some experts are calling for 6 to 7% appreciation. Some experts are calling for like 2 to 3%, but the average is right around that 4% mark. So long story short, real estate's doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's solid, it's increasing, and they're not making more of it. So that's the good thing of it, which is a good and bad because our inventory levels are really low based on this graph right here. We'll get into here in a second. But one thing that we have seen and what we are going to continue to see, that as this health crisis eases and we figure out more solutions to work around it and with it, we're going to see the housing quote-unquote boom even more. I say boom because really what's going on is it's shocking to see these prices and this activity, but in all reality, that's just a healthy market is what it is. And if you really study the numbers, it's doing what it's supposed to. So if you go off of like the sensational headlines and all the media that's telling you the sky is falling or this or that, come talk to somebody like me. I'll keep you grounded in the data of the situation and the facts and the science behind it all, instead of the emotional sensation that can go on with all this. There will be some households that are forced to sell because of all this ongoing thing, but what you'll find is that a lot of people have equity in their house, and so it's really not as dire of a situation as everyone thought it was. A lot of people didn't necessarily lose their income like they thought they were. Their work environment just changed. Their skills that they needed changed, and so a lot of change happened, but people didn't necessarily lose their butts financially, so to speak. So a lot of things were stepped in there. So what I'm going to see is I'm going to predict, just like a lot of the other experts are, is a steady increase of activity and home prices over 2021. So if you are looking to sell, obviously it's still a really good time to do so. If you have a house that needs a little bit more work or maybe isn't as desirable, now is a better time to sell than the spring, when you won't have as much competition from better houses, because people are still out looking right now, and you have more of a chance to sell your less desirable house now than you would in the spring or summer, because in the spring or summer, they're going to be buying up all the fancy nice houses. So if your house isn't as desirable, isn't as nice of a house, now's a better time to sell it than in the spring or summer. The other thing to do with that, I'm going to show you this chart here, is the inventory is ridiculously low. You can see where it peaks up here from 08 to 2010, where we were super high, but you can see this long-standing trend of less and less used houses to sell on the retail market, which is why so many buyers are going to new builds, and first-time home buyers are buying new builds or custom builds. And the long story short of it is that we just can't build them fast enough for the buyer demand to buy them. One of the main reasons I've partnered and got into building a lot of houses to help fix that solution for everything. The other piece to look at, which is kind of this one here and then this graph here, is that equity skyrocketed. The silver lining to a lot of this health crisis is that a lot of people, a lot of homeowners gained a lot of equity, i.e. cash in your pocket, as long as you kept making your payments, and then if you decided to cash out and go buy a next one, you really raked it in at this point. So if you made a lot of smart financial moves when it comes to your house in the middle of this pandemic, I bet you're sitting prettier than you were at the beginning of 2020 financially on everything. And you still have the opportunity to cash that out, because at the end of the day, your equity doesn't mean anything until you cash it out, until you actualize that equity that's in your home, or you use it, if you do something with it. Otherwise, it's kind of just sitting in your house, gaining at 3 to 7%, which is okay for an investment, but that's just it. It's just okay. It's not dying, but it's not really growing that much as an investment. So really, you want to cash out that equity, and you want to use it for something purposeful and meaningful and good, whether that's investing or something that's going towards more than just sitting in your house, which is what a lot of you did, which is what I'll show on another graph. I don't think it's in any of these ones. A lot of you refinanced and cashed out a bunch of your equity and took advantage of those low interest rates, and basically generated not only a bunch more business within the economy, but also you cashed out on a lot of the equity. And I don't know what you spent it with, but I hope you spent it on something important, something good. Hopefully you reinvested it back into something else that generates more than a 3 to 7% return on everything, which is honestly what I've been seeing a lot of people do, is either cashing out their house from selling it and then going and buying, for example, cashing out their house from somebody who bought a house for $200,000 3 years ago, is now selling it for $275,000 and looking to build or buy a $325,000 to $350,000 while keeping their monthly payment the same or lower. So their monthly payment's going down, they're cashing out their equity, and they're moving to the next level up with everything. Same with another couple I just met with, bought their house 3 years ago for $85,000. Now it's worth $125,000. They're going to sell that, cash it out, and go buy a house with acreage for $300,000 or less. And so they're taking advantage of the market at the moment and being smart with their decisions to buy and sell because of where the market's at right now. And honestly, what we need for all this to continue is more exchanges, more inventory, because I probably have 6 to 10 people right over here, you can see them, that would sell their house if they knew where to go next on buying the house. That's how restricted our whole market is, where it's kind of constipated, stalemated, where we need people to bring their houses to the market so that buyers can come buy the house and then put their house on the market, and the whole thing just starts rolling and kind of, I don't want to say trickle down, it trickles up. So as soon as these first-time home buyer renters can buy a house, those people can sell their house, who can now buy to the upper level, and those upper levels can buy to the highest level, and it all kind of rolls uphill, if you will, starting with the lower level of people buying and getting this ball rolling on everything. But that's what I see on everything. It's a very optimistic outlook. It's been a great Monday. Hopefully it's been a good start to all your guys' year. It's been a good start to mine. And not really anything much else to say there other than I'll post these graphics, infographics for you to look at. But 2021 should be a really good year. I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting back to some sort of normalcy, not just with social life, but also with real estate and everything else, and going back to getting to a, I don't want to say normal, because it's never normal, but I guess a little more routine and just standardized, allowable, freed space where everybody's getting along and we can do the things we want to do better. So thanks for watching as always. Hope you learned a little bit more about real estate and how everything works. If you got any questions, shoot me a message and we'll go from there. Talk to you guys later. Man, I'm being awkward today. See ya.